Welcome to In Conversation with MANWAR podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Do Not Be a Bystander campaign. You can join us in raising awareness about bullying by visiting the donotbeabystander.com, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay informed about upcoming episodes. Today's participants are Saftiha, Munaf, Naila, and Farifta. Our special guest for today's episode is Trevor Fairweather.
Welcome to our Bullying Awareness podcast. I'm your host, MANWAR Khan. Today, I'm joined by 4 young individuals who are ready to share their thoughts and insights on the topic of respecting teachers. Respecting teachers is an essential for fostering a positive and productive learning environment. Our today's participants are Munaf, Farifta, Naila, and Saftiya. Before we continue, I would like to introduce our special guest for today's episode, Trevor Fairweather. Trevor will shed some lights on the topic and gives some tips and advice for our participants and our viewers at the end of the show. So I'd like to talk a little bit about Trevor. Trevor is a program director with extensive experience in managing complex software and hardware projects, skilled in building relationships, leading teams to achieve success. He's a result-oriented individual. He possesses strong public policy abilities through effective communication, team collaboration, and management of resources. Thank you, Trevor, for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
All right, now that we have introduced our participants and guests, let's get started with our first question. Respecting teacher is an essential aspect of fostering positive learning environment. I mentioned it at the very beginning of my podcast. Now, my first question is for Munaf. Why it is important to show respect to your teacher, and how you think respecting your teachers can contribute positive learning environment. So there are 2 parts of this question. So first is, what do you mean by respecting teachers and why it is important?
So teachers in a student's life, teachers are the role model. They help the student develop intelligence, problem-solving skills, and just good qualities. So not respecting a teacher is not a good thing, because if they're your role model and you don't think that they're a good person, then why would they see the potential in you? Because respect is mutual. So if you don't respect the teacher, then the teacher probably wouldn't respect you. So they wouldn't see the potential in you to be a very good person. So that's why respecting teachers is important. And how it can help us in the learning environment is when you respect not just a teacher but other students, you earn their respect in return. So if you don't respect them, then you don't earn their respect, and that can be bad to the mindsets, because school is a learning environment where multiple heads come together in order to solve problems. So to learn in an area where no one else wants to help you is not a very good thing, because when you don't understand concepts, everyone else will just ignore it because they think you could not care less.
So the great answer, Munaf. So my sister is a teacher, and I saw her that she, after the classes, when she come home, she spent 3 more hours extra to create the curriculum for the next day. So what it tells actually that actually teachers give a lot of time from their life just to make sure that you have a better life, to improve. So if somebody is giving that much time to you, so, and that if that is a teacher, definitely I agree with you, Munaf. That's one of the reasons that they contribute their time, and they give their time. They even sometimes give their family time, and creating your curriculum. Maybe everybody else in the family is going for party, but she is staying at home just preparing for next day. So teachers have a huge contribution in our life, behind the scene, in front of the class too. So That's why we need to make sure that they deserve that full respect. Excellent. Great answer. Thank you so much, Munaf. So showing respect to your teachers can greatly contribute to your personal growth. Munaf mentioned that a little bit, and development in several ways. So my question for Farifta is, how does showing respect to your teachers contribute to your personal growth and development, you think, in your opinion?
Thank you for the question. When you respect your teacher, it helps you learn better. It creates a nice atmosphere for learning and makes it easier to talk with them. Respecting your teachers also makes you more um, humble and open to new ideas. By listening to them, you gain knowledge and improve your thinking skills. This respectful behavior encourages you to work hard, stay motivated, and always try to get better. It's like a key that unlocks your personal growth and development. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Good answer. So, when parents and guardians actively encourage and foster respect for teachers, they contribute to their children's overall academic success and character's development. They do that. So, my question for Nala is, how can parents and guardians can encourage their children to respect their teachers?
Thank you for the question. So, encouraging children to respect the teacher is an important aspect of a student's academic and social development. The first thing parents and guardians can do is encourage their children to respect their teachers by setting a positive example themselves. They can emphasize the importance of respect and show appreciation for educators. Then comes encouraging open dialogue. Regular communication with the teachers helps parents stay informed about their child's progress and address any concerns. Open dialogue and active listening teaches children to value and respect different viewpoints. Parents can also reinforce the idea that the teachers are there to guide and support their learning, fostering a sense of gratitude and understanding towards them. Thank you.
Excellent. Good answer. So, how can parents and guardians encourage their children to respect for their teachers? That's what you answered. If you ask me that question, what my mom and dad told when I was kid, my mom and dad told me that, who do you respect most in the world, in the entire world? So my answer would be my mom and dad. You and my mom, I respect more. So then, okay, then listen to me now. We are telling you, if you respect us more, we are telling you, you respect your teacher more than us. That's your job to do that. This is how I got my answer when I was kid. And that's instilled in my values. I still somehow connected well connected with all my teachers and professors. It's I'm lucky that that value was instilled in me when I was kid. So that's why we are having this conversation, right? So if you go and ask your parents, they will do. I am sure everybody's parents gonna say the same thing. You respect your teachers. You do not disrespect your teachers. That's the last thing you do. Thank you so much for your answer, Naila. Great answer. So, teachers play a crucial role in our education, guiding or shaping our academic and personal growth, as we mentioned. So, my question is for Safia. What are some common forms of disrespect towards teachers that students should avoid, you think?
So there are three things that students do often that they should start avoiding because they're very disrespectful to teachers. Those three are not paying attention in class, interrupting the teacher or like speaking out of turn, and not listening to instructions. So first, many kids, they, instead of paying attention in class, they like talk with their friends, doodle on their notebook, things like that. So how that affects teachers, how that's disrespectful to them, is that the teachers on professional development days or PD days, they take their time to learn new things to teach the students. Then they're trying to teach us and give us more knowledge so that we're more intelligent once we grow up. But if we're not paying attention during class, that whole lesson could maybe come up in your own life, and then you would end up forgetting it because you never pay attention during class. Then, speaking out of turn. Usually students, they speak out of turn without asking the teacher to talk. How that's disrespectful is that they're interrupting the teacher while the teacher is trying to tell them something or give them more knowledge. Finally, not paying attention, like not listening to instructions. During field trips, some kids don't listen to the instructions, which would make the teachers feel very mad because they had to repeat the instructions over and over again just because the child was not listening. So, in conclusion, students should avoid those three things so that the teachers are able to do their work and the students are able to get enough knowledge and learn.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Saftia. That was a great answer. You actually covered many things there. And do you guys have anything else, for my participants? Anything you guys want to add? You missed? You wanna share? Nope. So, all right. So now we have come to the end of our podcast, and the final segment is for our special guest. I would like to welcome Trevor to share his thoughts and insights, what you have listened from our young minds, and please, any advice for them?
So I mentioned about some key words that are that the whole point of being around the future or school is to learn, develop new ideas, share ideas, have mutual respect for each other, improve, whether that's self-development, adding to and gaining feedback. In the environments of school, you're learning. So when you decide to disrespect, you're only hurting yourself because people have bias. A teacher, if they're feeling disrespected, will not spend as much time. If they don't spend as much time with you, that means you won't potentially understand topics better. They will direct their attention towards people who respect you. In that scenario, you're the only one being hurt. The other part of that is if you're disrupting the class, not respecting them, you're going to be impacting the people around you. So you're also hurting the other classmates because it may actually be people who do respect the teacher and want to learn what they have. So again, that may not work to your favor in developing their knowledge and the progress of the class as a whole. Because one of the details that is in school is your job is to learn. And even if you're learning a topic you don't like, and a lot of people sometimes don't like math, some people don't like writing, it's your job to apply whatever you don't like into the things you do like. So if you enjoy sports or music or other hobbies, you can apply both writing and math to both all of those activities. Because I'm going to use sports as an example. When they do draft, we just finished a month of the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL doing draft. How do they choose their people? Based on math. What are their statistics? How do they present the people to the crowd or to network or the TV? Is through writing or media. Even though you may not like those two topics, and you may take it out on the teacher by not. The flip side of that is your job is to fulfill how can you use that knowledge and apply it to the things that are of value to you. So in life, there are going to be many teaching moments. It's even beyond the class. So there's like teacher is just another word for coach, mentor, minister, pastor. I'm running out of names. You learn from many different people. Even someone who spends the time to help you tie your shoes because you weren't doing it. That is a teaching moment, even though they may not have the official title of teacher. And the reason why that's valuable is because you're going to have many times that you're going to be given teaching moments to somebody else or to yourself or someone to you. But the key point of it is when teachers aren't feeling respected and they don't feel like you're trying, they do not help you. There's actually a well-esteemed fellow from the 90s, Randy House, who delivered a talk called Last Lecture. And he said it this way: when your coach or your teacher stops yelling at you and pushing you, that means they've given up on you, which is going to be much harder for you to push yourself forward. Because when you're the only person pushing yourself forward, you encounter a lot of barriers in life. Because you will need to reach out to people for advice, knowledge, tips. But if you haven't respect, they're not going to give you anything. That means you're stuck trying to figure it out.
Thank you, Trevor. Participants, any questions for Trevor? All right, we have come to the end of our podcast. Thank you so much, Trevor, for joining us today, and thank you, our participants, for your time. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Before we wrap up, I would like to remind our listeners that there are several resources available to help individuals dealing with bullying. The Government of Alberta has a bullying helpline which provides support and assistance and advice to those who experience bullying. The helpline can be reached at 1-888-456-2323. Bullying is a violation of human rights. Under no circumstances is bullying acceptable. As a community, we have a shared responsibility to take a stand against bullying and refuse to be a bystander. Thank you so much for joining in conversation with MANWAR Khan. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.